Luggage ladies and bed and breakfast boys, capitulate to your cabin crew, extrude an eco-excursion, and you know I love our port visits, but what shall we do when we're stuck in our cabin?
No boarding. Gate number 33. Protect us, me.
Welcome back, I am Omen Thomas Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
Together, we are the Feckless Moans.
And this, my little airsick bags, is Talk to Me.
An all-inclusive pleasure cruise to the many ports of Prog Rock, in which non-refundable Nick and overhead storage Omen will peer through our portal at the exotic magnificence of each and every transitive track that round-trip rock band Jethro Tull have ever forgotten in their hotel bedroom and asked to be shipped home. We will apply for a group rate with Andrew Giddings, locate Doane Perry's port of entry, and bounce on the bellwether with bellboy Martin Bayer. And if we can secure a communication with the control tower, double book our deadhead, and determine just what is continental about a continental breakfast, we might just get the chance to sight that rarest of romantic destinations, the first officer of the flute, the Scottish stateroom. If you think his bow is stern, wait till you see how stern his stern is. A man so famous, a sink where he trimmed his beard is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Ian Autobahn Anderson.
I really appreciate that you committed with the Martin Barr moment and didn't go back and correct it. So that's all we've got, and it's staying in the podcast.
Hey, it's like Picasso. He would do those sketches with just one brushstroke.
Yep.
They were terrible.
It's absolute dog shit, but they sell for a lot of money now.
But they sell. That's my philosophy.
So hopefully this podcast will sell for a lot of money in a couple hundred years.
When we're dead.
Yeah.
Nick, speaking of our impending death, what are we listening to this very episode here on the Talk to Me podcast?
This very episode, we are on episode 12 of album 20.
That's got to be something.
It is Far Alaska off of jtull.com.
I was right.
You're right. It was something.
Why don't we go ahead and have a listen to Far Alaska?
Sure. Let's ship on out. Bring your bug gear.
Hey, Nick.
Omen, when did you get here?
Was that Far Alaska?
If anything is Far Alaska, that was it, I would say. Yeah.
Have you ever had baked Alaska?
A long time ago in high school. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. In high school, I worked at the local grocery store, and my older brother, Matt, worked at the local restaurant.
Sure.
He got kind of into food there. Like, they taught him some stuff. And one of the things he made for, I don't know, some holiday was he made a baked Alaska at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
So for any listeners who may be unaware, baked Alaska, I'm pretty sure, is where you take ice cream, coat it in a dough of some kind, and then flash fry it so that the outside is crispy and fried, but the inside is still ice cream.
That's just deep fried ice cream.
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of deep fried ice cream. Baked Alaska is a pie shell with ice cream in it that's super frozen. And then you put a meringue over the top and then bake it. And the meringue creates enough of a shield that it will heat and brown that meringue while still protecting the ice cream within.
Ooh, you don't have to bake it for that long, presumably.
I can't imagine so. No, yeah.
Meringue doesn't take long to brown.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nick.
Omen.
This song has a ton going on in it.
It's very busy. It's very, very busy. Yeah.
It is a dense tapestry.
It's a dense yet very quick 4 minutes.
This song has a high thread count.
Yes. Yeah. You want to sit there and really kind of take your time and absorb all of the threads in this song.
Absorb the threads, which is exactly what everyone does when they lie on a sheet. Let's jump in and talk about the music.
Great idea. Yeah.
We have that intro. Bum, 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 bum.
Ba-da-da-now.
Does that remind you of Morse code?
I suppose it could. It didn't come to mind when I first listened to it, but you saying that makes me think, I mean, yeah, it could be.
I don't think it's actually Morse code, but to me it has that sort of, it reminds me of the different ways that you signal information on a ship or between vessels, that it's, a coded bunch of beeps and whistles and things.
Yeah, that kind of staccato sound.
Yeah, or perhaps, I mean, it could also kind of remind me of like a news. Dum, dum, dum,
Oh,
dum,
yeah,
dum,
yeah.
bum, bum,
The
bum.
ticker tape, yeah.
But it more reminds me of Morse code.
Okay. Which could fit with the general theme of travel and communication between vessels and places and things.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Why not? It's the holidays. I'll give it to you.
It's the holidays. Screw it. Right off the bat, we have the flute. We have a call and response where the flute is the caller and the guitar, the electric guitar, is the responder.
Mhm.
Shortly thereafter, we have the drum kicking in with a really lovely feature. About 15 seconds in,
A water feature.
we have a very wet drum come in, and really it's so nice because it just kind of rides there in the background, and there's enough space in the call and response for the drums to really come through, and it's just great to hear Doan,
Doan being Doan.
the hand of Doan.
Yeah.
A little bit later than that, we swap the leader of the call and response, and it goes to the guitar leading and the flute responding.
And I think Jonathan Noyce steps in fairly right around there as well, right?
He steps in hard.
Yeah. I don't know if we've just had this progression of Jonathan becoming a little more present in the songs the later we go into the album, or it's just me beginning to be able to recognize him and pull him out more. But I feel like these later songs, he's been a lot more, or rather a lot less stealth bassist.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you upgraded your headphones halfway through.
I did not. Nope.
Oh.
Same headphones. Yeah.
I think that to assume that they recorded the songs in the order that they're presented in the album
Yeah, that's a good point.
is maybe an inaccurate way of looking at it. I agree that I'm having that same experience. The more I listen to it, the more I'm like, wow, Jonathan Noyce.
Yeah. So maybe it's not necessarily the fact that they were chronologically recorded, but the mastering, the production after the fact, where, we want to see this. Whether that's true or not is debatable.
Or it could be what you said, which is that the more that we listen to it with attuned ears,
Yeah.
then the more we are picking up the bass. But I mean, I think we were just talking in the last track, Bends Like a Willow, that Jonathan Noyce was kind of like One Note Willie
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of the track, where he would just find his drone and go dum ba dum bum bum ba
Yeah.
dum ba dum dum. But in this, he's walking that bass all over town. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun in here. It really lends to the wildness of it.
Yeah, I love that you use that word. There is kind of a feeling of wild abandon.
Yeah. We don't have that set, solid structure of the bass kind of keeping us tethered to the ground. We are in flight.
I mean, also looking at the structure of the song, I couldn't write fast enough to note all of the changes that are occurring. There are changes in melody, in the instrumentation, in the tone, and it really is switching between all those quite rapidiously.
Yes. Rapidash, the Pokemon. It's bouncing all over the place, but it doesn't feel out of control hectic. There is a hecticness to it. There's an urgency to it.
It feels like the edge of control.
It feels like, oh shit, I only have so much time to get to my next gate.
Yes.
That scene in Home
Yes.
Alone where they're all just booking it, trying to make it.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's the feeling when you jump onto the train and the doors close immediately behind you and you're like,
Yeah.
whew.
Yeah, it cut off a piece of my ass.
Yeah.
Hot slice of ass. So after that opener we have of flute, guitar, drums, bass, we get into Ian singing, and we get a little Mando funk action there.
Placing people in their dreamscape with fantasies of foreign fields.
You know, interesting. I thought that it was an acoustic guitar.
Okay.
Whether it is the mandolin or the guitar, I feel like it is played by Ian. It has that distinctive kind of strumming pattern that I associate with Mr. Anderson.
Whether it's the mandolin or the guitar, you're still wrong. It's not your Chris Thile mandolin.
Yeah.
It's more, I can play the guitar, so I can kind of play the mandolin, so I'm just going to play the mandolin here. Not a complaint at all, but it's, yeah, there's a distinctive feeling to that strumming pattern, picking pattern.
Whatever the instrument is, it's got that high, airy sound that could give us the feeling of a Celtic background, or just a nice contrast with all the other heavier instruments that are presented in this song.
Yeah, generally Martin's guitar is on the fairly low side. So it does help to contrast that. Are you thinking it's the trademark Ian Tiny guitar, possibly giving us that high sound rather than the Mando, or just a guitar played really high?
I don't know. It could be either of those. It could be. I think that the Ian Mini guitar, if I remember correctly, was a nylon strung guitar.
Oh yeah,
Is that true?
that sounds vaguely familiar.
And this to me sounds like steel strings.
It does, yeah.
So hard to know.
Yeah. Right when we get to Ian's lyrics of Too Far Alaska in our like very pseudo chorus, that's when our synth really comes in powerhouse in organ form.
Too far Alaska down to Rio in the carnival.
That kind of leads in. That's not too far away, I think. It's kind of the buildup. So we get a slight guitar, we get drum, then we get synth. It's kind of light, it's sparing. And then it goes into a bigger, more robust kind of just repetition of that theme. That gets heavy with the guitar, the drum, the synth. We get flute in there. At 2:30, we get synth strings.
Yes, we do.
And then at 2:45, Martin comes in super stingy.
You know, that synth string moment that you were pointing out at 2:30, that reminded me a little bit of Under Wraps.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I couldn't exactly tell you why, but just something about the quality of the strings. I think because they seem to be set to retro synth string.
Yeah, I would certainly say it's not synth trying to embody the string. It's like, ooh, I'm not a synth. Am I a string? Ooh, what am I? It's like, I'm a synth, and this is the strings.
Yeah, this is the string setting from the 1980s.
Yeah.
But there's something about that. There's that sense of mystery and romanticism. I think that's what I'm keying into.
Yeah. I think that certainly fits into the idea of the song itself, the Far Alaska feel. It's a new sound for this song. You know, we haven't heard anything quite as old school synthy or quite as sweeping as this in here. So it does,
Yes.
during this entire breakdown, it gives you the feeling of that old Indiana Jones map of the red dot going to Zimbabwe and
That's
then
perfect.
Alaska
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Timbuktu. Yeah. Yeah, and that string just happens to be sweeping at like New Delhi or something.
This song kind of combines the romanticism of old world or old style travel with the reality of modern travel,
Yeah.
thematically, in terms of the music.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. If you know what you're listening for, it does give you that kind of montage feel, that movie montage feel. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sense of that disorienting feeling where you're like, I've just taken 3 flights, I'm in an airport, couldn't necessarily tell you where it is.
Yeah, right.
It's somewhere.
I know where I'm going to end up, but at this point, everything's a blur in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote down 219 Angry Flute.
Yeah, that's probably where we get that third of the 3 sets of that repetition of that theme where the flute comes in really heavy as the final evolution of that Pokemon.
That's Flutazar.
Yeah, that part in particular, and also the really abrupt ending that we have is very rock flute to me. It's very reminiscent of what we're going to be hearing in 20 years, 10 years, 20 years, something like that.
Interesting. You're saying the ending of the song itself.
Yes, yeah, not the ending of that actual portion, but the full-on, really abrupt bapa ending.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I agree that there's a similar kind of feeling. It's also interesting to note that the end of the outro of the song is very parallel to the beginning. It kind of goes back to that very staccato, what I think of as Morse codey.
Yeah.
It's almost like you get this message, this encoded message, and then it unfolds into this huge, mysterious, multi-continental journey, and then at the end it folds back up into
An origami swan.
an origami swan that
Yeah.
bursts into flame.
The origami phoenix, I guess. It would
An origami phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts as kind of staccato, abrupt as that beginning is. It's certainly more fluid than our ending, but yeah, I do see that parallel. It feels more final. End of story. Done. Your plane has landed,
End transmission.
or your plane's crashed.
Over and out.
Over and out. Arene 4-4 here?
Yes, I believe so.
There were some moments where I think we had some phrases that had a series of 4-4s, but they strategically used a rest or two at the very end, so it left me like, oh wait, do I stop counting? Where do we go? Right. And but it made sense to pick up after that set of 4 to continue counting. So I think I followed it, but there are some moments in here where it's a little like, is it? But there's a really kind of satisfying use of rests at the end. It leaves it a little more jarring in those moments as opposed to a continued flow. There's these beats of stop, pick up again, stop, pick up again.
You're totally right. And a lot of the song is a play on the tempo and the rhythm. I think that those rests serve to make the listener doubt, like, did I miss something? Is the song over?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's back into it. I'm unprepared. One of the great things that Doan is able to do on the drums is to, just by virtue of what he's playing, he causes the listener to feel like the tempo is speeding up or slowing down. Whereas in reality, the tempo is completely consistent through the entire thing. But when we're going in between those, placing people in their dreamscapes, it feels a little bit more low tempo.
Yeah, right.
As opposed to when we go into to far Alaska. It's just the way that Doan is subdividing the measures
yeah.
that gives you that feeling of acceleration and slowing down.
How cool that works. That's even a thing. That's something that is very easy to fall into the background.
Yeah.
Can really control that feeling. And I think Doan is really good at that with his powerhouse.
I agree. And, classical composers make use of that as well, where, you'll listen to a piece and the tempo will be totally the same, but you feel like it's changing tempo just because of the trumpet line coming in or the something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fairly fond of the trumpet line in this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's very good.
There's one little riff that I really enjoy from Andy Giddings. It comes in usually after Carnival, down to Rio in the Carnival. Dum, 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 dum.
Oh, interesting. Is it in organ at that point? It must be.
Yes, I think it is an organ.
Carnival.
It's just that bum 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 bum.
Yeah, that's fun. That's very fun. He's the most flourishy, I think, in this song. The keyboard, the synth, is the instrument that you could remove from the song. You would still have the structure of the song. You know, it's not a load-bearing wall. But boy, does it add to this song a lot.
It's not a load-bearing wall, but it's like the windows.
Yeah.
It's non-structural, but if you took them out, you'd lose a lot of light in the interior, a little natural light.
Yeah. He does bring light to this. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And color.
And pants.
For Black Friday, my pants are 50% off.
One leg? You're just one leg?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that is quite the pink shirt you're wearing. The Flying Seagull Project. Hey, I know about them.
Yeah.
Bunch of clowns.
Bunch of clowns.
Bunch of jokers.
No, literally.
Literally a bunch of clowns.
Yep. For anyone interested in the Flying Seagull Project, it's a wonderful relief clowning project where clowns go to refugee camps all over the world and teach them circus and clowning skills to help them laugh, emotionally process the horrors that they've been through, and leave them with performance skills so that they can continue to entertain and express themselves long after the clowns have left.
Wow, boring. Wow.
Oh, jeez. Welcome back, Nick.
Oh man, thank you for having me. Here we are. Nothing for the middle, so, let's just talk about the lyrics.
Let's just talk about these lyrics. Yeah, I thought I knew what this song was about, and then I read the lyrics.
Okay, pre-reading this song, pre-reading the lyrics, what did you think the song was about?
Okay, well, as an American, I have an association with Alaska, which is that it is the final frontier.
Mm.
It is the furthest place away you can go and still be in America. It's sort of this land where you could be who you want to be because there's nobody up there.
Yeah, it's pretty sparse, yeah.
It's pretty sparse.
Wait, I think Nick is a Brick lives in Alaska. Could be wrong. I think he does live up there, though.
Really?
I think so, yeah. Nick, hit us up about living in Alaska if you're hearing this. And you actually do live in Alaska. If you don't, you don't have to, but...
Send us a small iceberg.
Carve it onto an icicle, send it in the mail.
We will drink it. Alaska has a wildly disproportionate gender population.
Mm.
It's like the opposite of Sarah Lawrence College. It's like 75% men.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Alaska is one of those places where if you move there, the Alaskan government will just straight up give you something around $10,000.
That's not bad.
Well, but then winter happens.
Winter's coming, and it's Alaska.
And it's Alaska. But I've also heard that Alaska is really fun. I'm actually planning on going to Alaska for the first time this coming summer to run a solstice half marathon in the, 23 hours of daylight.
So do you have to run the whole time? All 23 hours?
You have to run from sunup to sundown. That
Wow.
would be miserable.
Yeah, that's commitment.
So for me, I always thought that this song was about hey baby, let's get as far away from civilization as possible.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go all the way to Alaska. It's sort of a placeholder for Timbuktu. It may as well be like that.
Right. So Alaska, if you're looking at the map of North America, you see the states and then you see the attic that is Canada. And if you look in the
attic.
upper left-hand corner of that map, completely detached from the states, if you follow up through Canada, that's where Alaska is.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a contiguous state.
It is non-contiguous. And if you're looking at a map, make sure that you are accounting for the sins of the Mercator projection. Alaska is very big, but it's not quite as big as it looks on a Mercator projection map.
It's no Russia, after all.
It's a grower, not a shower.
Not by much in that temperate climate.
Now, reading the lyrics, I think I got really caught up in the details.
Okay.
Lost in the details. Placing people in their dreamscape, with fantasies of foreign fields.
Placing people in their dreamscape with fantasies of foreign fields.
I don't know what to tell you.
I think it's too early to make a decision.
This could be the role of a travel agent.
Yeah, or the airline. That's exactly
Right.
what I was thinking, yeah.
Like, hey, you have this fantasy, I'm going to put you there.
Yeah, they're the ones who do that.
Right. Lofty spires, all well appointed in off-season special deals.
Lofty spires all well appointed in off-season special deals.
Off-season is, of course, the time of year when nobody wants to go to the place
Right.
that you're going to.
Alaska in the winter, Florida in the summer.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. You need a summer home in Alaska and you have your winter home in Florida.
That would be extreme snowbirding.
And that's about as far away as you can get, unless you were to go to Hawaii and then Alaska.
That may not be farther away.
You think so? If you go the other way around the globe, you get to it.
Yeah, I suppose everything can be far away if you travel stupidly.
Yeah, Ithaca's really far away from here if you go the opposite direction.
Go the opposite direction.
You'll get there.
Eventually. Okay, so off-season special deals, it seems a very practical, direct reference to how to travel in a budget-conscious way, but also how to avoid people.
Right, yeah. Going to places that are not necessarily in their prime at that moment.
Remember when we were on the Isle of Skye?
I do.
And we were like, wow, it's so hard to get anything. Everything was booked up. And I remember we talked to someone and we were like, what's the tourist season here on Skye? And they're like, well, it used to be April to July, but now there is no off season. It's the on season all the way round.
Thank you, global warming?
We're up to our precious tits and tourists.
Yeah, they were pretty busy while we were there.
We saw a lot of people wearing those t-shirts that said, I wish I had some peace and quiet from the tourists instead of these juicy tits.
They were all handmade shirts, too. They had like the iron-on letters and everything. It was a curious choice, but...
They were Harris Tweed, actually.
Woven. The letters were woven into the Harris Tweed.
Right. Very strange.
Yeah. The beauty of those t-shirts is they'll last forever. The generations can continue to wear as long as they take care of that tweed, yeah.
Me grandmother made this in reference to her own juicy tits.
Her juicy tits.
Must have skipped a generation, eh, Ma? You know, you mentioned global warming, but there actually is a trend in tourism away from certain tourist destinations that habitually have been like, ooh, let's get warm and go there. Now, places like Norway and Alaska and Canada are finding that they can market themselves as like, hey, come beat the heat.
Yeah.
There is a real shift happening there.
That it's not so excruciatingly winter, but it's a comfortable winter to beat the heat. Or a comfortable
summer,
rather, yeah.
Exactly. So the only thing that confuses me is the lofty spires, all well appointed. I mean, I sort of get the sense that he's talking about a hotel of some kind, but why is it a lofty spire?
I think it's more a tourist attraction. The tourist attractions stay beautiful. They stay pretty much the same. You know, you go see the palace, you go see Big Ben, you go see what's the domes? The domes in Russia, the
Glass Onion.
The Onion, yeah. What's that called?
Is it a Francis Ford cupola?
It is not.
While you look that up, it also occurs to me that if you say a lofty spire, to me that conjures something of remove and distance from the ground floor.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's the penthouse suite. Maybe it's I want a room and I want it to be as far away from everyone else as possible.
Yeah, right. If you have to go there, at least be away from everyone.
Some people travel in order to be around people, and some people travel in order to not be around people.
Yeah. Apparently, they're just called onion domes. I thought for sure they had a name.
They probably do in Russian.
I thought it was a much more commonly used name, but everything I'm seeing just says onion dome.
Perhaps they're called borscht bubbles.
I think you're right.
Filled with borscht.
I mean, they do also look like beets, so it could be a borscht bubble.
Do not crack the glass onion. It will be a borscht catastrophe.
When the borscht bubble bursts, the economy will go south.
The Russian version of Led Zeppelin has a song about that.
Perfect. Yes.
When the levee breaks.
Yeah. No, I got it.
You got it. Okay. To far Alaska, down to Rio in the carnival. Norwegian fjords in the everlight of solstice call.
Too far Alaska down to Rio in the carnival. Norwegian fjords in the everlight of solstice call.
Something occurs to me here.
Mm-hmm.
Alaska, carnival, and Norwegian are all the names of cruise lines.
Wow. Good call.
I'm not saying that this song is about cruising, but that stuck out to me on listening to it. Alaska Cruise Lines, Carnival Cruise Lines, Norwegian Cruise Lines.
That's really interesting.
Maybe it's a little Easter egg. Maybe it's just happenstance. Or maybe it is a direct reference to a certain mode of travel.
Yeah. Maybe it's not the definitive way that we are traveling to these destinations in this song because we have plane references after that. But it is an option.
Yeah. It also, if you went from Alaska to Rio to Norway on a cruise line, it would take you many months, I think.
It would be for those people who retire and then just live on cruise ships because it's cheaper.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably more fun. I don't know if you like that sort of thing. Have you ever been on a cruise, Nick?
No. You kidding me? I can't stand people on land. You think I'd be happy trapped with them at sea?
What sort of a cruise would you go on?
A solo cruise. No. I don't know. I get motion sick. I'd be fucking miserable.
Yeah, you'd hate it so much.
I mean, I like a buffet. I'm not going to lie. I like a buffet.
Blah. I think I would have a hard time on a cruise. I think a river cruise would be more interesting for me.
Ooh, the Mark Twain Mississippi cruise? I would deal with that. That'd be great.
There's a cruise that goes, I think it goes like from St. Petersburg all the way to somewhere in Germany on the Blue Danube.
Oh, that sounds cool too.
It goes through a number of really interesting countries. I think there may be some kind of canal cruises even.
Interesting.
I would do that.
Yeah.
But a big ocean liner, I don't know.
A big call boat with thousands of people.
And a lot of times people get really ill on those voyages because the air system is all connected.
Yeah, it's a petri dish and you're sharing germs with people from all over the world that you're not acclimated to. You're going to get sick. And then they also get like stomach bugs too, which doesn't help from the food.
Some of them have a decoration on their door, which is an upside down pineapple.
That's a sexual thing, isn't it?
It's swingers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of swinging that happens on cruises. I've read.
I can't wait to bring Rook to the swing set.
Back to the verse.
Inappropriate.
A part of me might travel with you in a freebie bucket seat for one.
Part of me might travel with you in a freebie bucket seat for one.
There's this interesting thing that happens in this song where it sort of sounds like, oh yes, this is a song about me traveling. And then it kind of switches to like, this is a song about you traveling and me not being there with you.
You GTFO, I'll be thinking about you when you go to Nebraska.
Yeah. A cruise to Nebraska.
Famously landlocked Nebraska.
What's a bucket seat, Nick?
A bucket seat is, I mean, I guess you could consider some airplane seats a bucket seat. So a bucket seat kind of encompasses you. It comes up, it's more individual seating as opposed to like a bench seat, which is just a row of seats with the arms in the middle that differentiate the seats.
Right. Typically what you would have in a race car.
Right. Yeah.
The seat itself goes up at the edges, so your butt is in a bucket.
It cups you. It supports you.
It does. I like a bucket seat. My Abarth has bucket seats.
Yeah, it has to.
It has to, because when you turn, it wants to chuck you out the broken window.
You need support. You need that support.
You need to be sucked in there.
Yeah.
So a part of me might travel with you in a freebie bucket seat for one. So if it's free, and if I don't have to sit next to anyone else, a part of me might go with you.
Part of me. Does that mean you'll be in my thoughts? Like I'll be with you when you go? Or does it mean I'm physically going with you, but I don't really want to be there? My thoughts are elsewhere?
That's kind of what I assumed.
Yeah.
You can make my body go on vacation, but you will never make my mind go on
I
vacation.
will astral project elsewhere. You can't stop
Back
me.
to my workshop. Business first, at last forever. Hopeless thoughts of flying fun.
Business first and last forever. Hopeless thoughts of flying fun.
Business and first are classes on the airline.
Airplane references, sure.
Yeah. The way I read it is that at this stage in his career, he will never fly coach again.
Yeah. It's a wonder he doesn't fly private.
It's a wonder he doesn't just put himself into the Tull cannon and yeet himself from country to country. At last forever. Why is that sticking in my head?
The verb to yeet is so funny to me. At Last Forever is track number 9 off of Roots to Branches.
Another wonderful inter-Tull reference.
Yes. I love those so much. They're so fun.
Yeah, they're so fun. Hopeless thoughts of flying fun. That could be anything.
That's like, oh, the excitement of going on a plane. It could be fun. I think it's hopeless because it's never going to be fun.
You know it's
Yeah.
yeah. You convince yourself that travel will be fun so that you do it.
But as soon as you step foot in that airport and you wait in line to take off your shoes and haul your suitcases and everything, the harsh, cold water splash of reality is
Yes.
like, oh, this is why I hate this. This is so shitty.
So you and I were hanging out 2 days ago in upstate New York,
Fact.
and then I flew back here to Orlando yesterday, which was Thanksgiving Day.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, it was such a treat traveling on Thanksgiving.
I bet.
There was literally no line in security at Syracuse. I literally walked the whole zigzaggy portion of the line. No one around me, just making full eye contact with the gate agents the entire time, being like, which of you?
Someone flag me, please.
I've never, this is a new experience to me. Do each of you need to stamp my ticket or?
Are you bored?
Yeah.
So the last time you were here a couple months ago, you also came in at Syracuse. Was it busy then? Because it wasn't like a really like peak season or anything,
I don't know if Syracuse has a peak season.
but obviously busier than yesterday, I imagine.
Yes, yeah. There were people in the line.
Yeah.
Now get me out of here, I cry in air rage psychodoom. I'm only dream arranging from the safety of my room.
Now get me out of here, I cry in air rage psychodoom. I'm only dream arranging from the safety of my room.
That to me seems like the vacation worm has turned. And he's like, I'm so sick of being on this damn cruise. I'm so sick of being on this vacation. I'm literally locked myself in my room. And even though I was forbidden from bringing my guitar or my tape recorder,
Oh, that's what you mean by arranging. Okay.
I'm arranging music in my head with my eyes closed.
Okay, I like that. I thought of arranging plans to get the hell out of here.
Could be that as well.
But I do like the idea of making it musical and therefore much more personal for this experience.
I just love the phrase air rage psychodoom.
That's my death metal band, actually. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a word for what I was feeling.
Leave it to Ian Anderson to produce that for you.
Yes, and I thank him.
Yeah.
But, just yesterday, even the mildest of inconveniences can kind of throw me into the doom spiral of, oh my God, my plane's not going to ever be here. I'm going to be stuck here. I'm going to have to, and then the snowstorm.
Yeah.
You just kind of you start doom projecting all of the things that could go wrong.
Yeah, it snowballs. It just gets progressively worse and worse and worse. When
Yeah.
in actuality, it's just as bad as it was last time, but just something that throws off that tight pattern and structure that you need to get through this process.
Right.
Ugh, no thank you. Nope, I'll
Yeah.
walk from now on.
I'll walk. Pick a place or stick a pin in any corner of the sphere.
Pick a place or stick a pin in any corner of the sphere.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, that kind of is like, oh, where shall we go for vacation? Let's throw a dart at the map.
Yeah, right. The cuteness is any corner of the sphere. A sphere obviously has no corners. A sphere represents the globe,
LOL.
but it could also be, the corner could be corners of a map, but he's talking about the globe. But yeah, pick a place, like spin that globe, put your finger down. I guess that's where we're going this time.
We used to do that, I think, a lot more often when there was a greater preponderance of globes in classrooms.
Just for giggles, are you saying?
Yeah. How would you even do that with like a Google map?
I would be shocked if there wasn't
A randomizer?
a function on Google Maps to do that. Yeah. I would be shocked if it wasn't there. It might be like buried somewhere, but
You don't get to spin.
no, there is definitely a physical satisfaction of doing the spin, putting your finger on there to stop that spinning and see. But yeah, I mean, it's the price that we pay for Google Maps.
When I want to go on vacation, I put a special vinyl record on the record player, which just has Ian Anderson reading the names of every city on Earth in random order.
Perfect.
I turn the volume all the way down and just turn off the record at a certain point.
Rip up the RPMs so it's nice and quick.
Yep. And then wherever it stops, I just put up the volume, play it, and whatever he says next.
My basement.
The fish and chip shop behind the 7-Eleven in Derby. Post me cards and tell me nicely. Say you wish that I was here.
Post me cards and tell me nicely. Say you wish that I was here.
That reminds me of...
Postcard Day? From Ruby's Dance? Oh, it's off of Secret Language of Birds.
But I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of.
No?
What's the thing that's like, I'll say that I wish you were here, but really I don't?
Yes, but that's him sending the postcard.
Yes.
It's the other side. Yeah.
It's the opposite of that.
Yeah, I don't think it is that. I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're saying, but obviously there's not the word postcard in there. So there must be something else. One of his other travel songs, but I mean, that's a dime a dozen at this point.
Listener, if you know what the heck we're talking about and can remind us what song we are thinking of in which the theme is, I'll say that I wish you were here, but I really don't.
Right, I'm on vacation. I'm obliged to tell you that I miss you, but we both know I don't.
Then let us know.
We'll get somebody. Somebody will let us know for sure. And that's the end. Post me cards and tell me nicely, say you wish that I was here. So that takes us the next step. That's not, well, I'm going to be roped into going with you, but my mind won't be here. This is, I'm not here at all. I'm physically not here. Go ahead, have your fun, send me the postcards, tell me that you wish I was there, but I won't be there.
It's a story of 3 vacations.
Yes, this is the Goldilocks of just right here is I'm not there.
I went on vacation and pretended to have a good time. I went on vacation and did not pretend to have a good time. And I did not go on vacation and had a great time.
I went on vacation and I wasn't there.
I just sent my luggage.
And I saved so much money and stress just by shipping my luggage around the world.
I mean, for someone who has traveled as extensively, as frequently, as consistently as the writer of the song, Mr. Ian Anderson, I suspect that his relationship with travel is complex, to say the least.
I think at this point, I recall having some conversations with friend of the pod, James, when we were in England about Ian's travel.
Where's the batteries?
That Ian's relationship with travel isn't so complicated now because he knows exactly what he wants.
Right.
And does exactly what he wants and what he needs.
He's had a lifetime of experience to say, I will not fly that airline.
I will not fly this far away from home.
Yeah. So this probably was written in a time when he was developing a sense
Yeah.
of this is really what I like and this is really what I don't prefer, but I'm still doing some of the things that I don't prefer because it needs must.
Right, exactly. Exactly. They were still doing significantly more touring, significantly wider footprint. But yeah, I mean, this was 30 years ago. Ian was 40?
JDA told us that the next tour is going to be just astral projection.
But physically, he will come to our place, though.
He's astral projecting from the Talk Tall to Me podcast
Yeah, yeah.
to everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets it, but we get to see him lying there on the couch, not doing anything.
In a couch which is floating in a saltwater bath.
Yes. Yeah, completely dark. Completely
dark.
Yeah,
No sounds except for us talking tall,
yeah.
which is white noise for him.
So, Omen, next week, we are 2 tracks away from the official end of this album with 1 bonus track. Next week is Christmas Eve, if y'all celebrate that. Merry Christmas Eve to everyone.
Is that for real?
It sure is.
We're going to drop on the very eve of the day of St. Nicholas.
That's right. We
Wow.
are doing the dog ear years, which is kind of appropriate for Christmas Eve. And then the following week is actually New Year's Eve. So that's fun too.
And we'll do a gift of roses then.
Yeah, which also feels pretty apt.
So if you want to party hardy on this holiday season, remember to always be responsible and listen to the Feckless Moans.
That's right. Until next week, until Christmas Eve 2024, I am your Everlight of Solstice. I am Nick McGill.
I'm a freebie, Omen Thomas said.
We are the Air Rage Psycho Doom of the Feckless Moans.
And stick a pin in it. It's Talk Tall to Me.
This is your captain speaking. It's now safe for you to unbuckle your seatbelt. Thank you for flying. Thank you.
Miss Stewardess, excuse me.
Yes.
This is my first time flying. I'm really nervous, and I was just wondering, is there any way that I could get a glass of water?
Oh, goodness, sugar. Of course you can have some water. That'll be $5.
Oh, sure, yeah, that sounds reasonable since we're completely off the ground. Here you go.
Here you are. Here is your 4 ounces of water.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I love how I'm not spilling it all over myself at all. Miss, I didn't realize the airplane would be so cold. Is there a blanket or anything that I could have? I don't know.
Of course, sir. Of course.
Oh, you do have blankets?
Absolutely. For $45,
Wow.
you can purchase yourself an official airline blanket made out of newsprint.
Oh my gosh, and do I get to keep it at the end?
You do get to keep it. Do not get it wet. It will disintegrate.
Oh, thank you. Here's my money.
Thank
Here's
you for
my money.
that.
I'm just
Would you like me to open a tab?
putting the blanket over myself right now.
There you are, honey. There you are. Tuck yourself right in.
Yeah, just charge it to my account. It's my employer that's flying me. I'm a traveling musician, and we are deciding to do something called a tour.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
That's nice. If I may ask, what do you
Yeah.
play?
I play the bongo drums. You see, the bongos are in the hold of the plane right now, and I'm worried about them. I gave them gabapentin and water beforehand, but I just don't know. They've never flown before either.
That's very exciting. It sounds like you care enough to take care of them.
Would it be possible, just because of my nerves? I just love to know how things work. Is there any way I could go see the cockpit?
I will have to check with the pilot first.
Uh-huh.
We generally don't allow that unless you're a child or in first class.
I'm a child at heart.
I will ask him. Please allow me a moment.
Okay, let me just see if I can get this blanket. Oh God, I spilled my water on it. Oh, it's like cotton candy.
Yes, sir.
Yes, hi.
Yes, that'll be $60 for the tour of the cockpit, but the captain would be more than happy to guide you through that.
$65, that's nothing. Yeah, let's go.
I said 60, but yes, you can pay 65.
That's your tip.
Wonderful. Please come on up. Do watch yourself. Oh, do not. When we get into first class, do not speak or make eye contact.
So sorry.
Do not touch anything. Oh goodness.
Oh, here it is. Oh, wow.
Captain,
yeah.
here's the little young at heart boy that I brought to you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, look at all these buttons. I can't believe it.
Hello, come on in.
Oh, is that the stick that you used to actually move the airplane?
That's it. That's the stick.
Mr. Captain, I can you show me how to turn the lights on and off?
Of course. It's this button right here, right next to the ejector seat.
Can I press it?
Oh, please do it. They love it when you do that back there.
Okay, great. Oh my God, wrong button!
Oh my, good thing we have an autopilot.
Now, I'm wondering, now that the captain's gone,
Yes,
to calm everyone, I have easily spooked nerves, you know.
yes.
Is there some sort of a pacifying music that you play to make sure all the passengers fall asleep and don't get fractious?
Well, that was actually attached to the captain's seat,
Oh no.
so we do not have that capability any longer.
What if I have my own thumb drive with calming sounds on it?
I believe we have a USB port right here. Plug that in, why don't you?
There we go. Oh, that's great. You know, I'm just gonna play this over the speakers since I'm basically now the captain.
Yeah, I believe you are. That will be a charge of $3,000 for that seat, however.
That's fine. That's fine. He left his hat here, and so I'm gonna just put that on. Oh,
You are legally now the captain, now that you are wearing that hat.
let me just test out the microphone. Hello everyone. I am now your captain speaking, and I'd like to let you know that everything is completely under control. And if you're panicking, don't worry. Just plug your headphones in, and I will pipe through the sounds of a podcast called Talk Tall to Me.
Which, by the way, is a proud member of the Feckless Moms Audio Network.
I'm using the stick!